There was a time whenever you wanted a movie to sound futuristic, you added in the year 2000. Death Race 2000, Escape 2000, Godzilla 2000, Cinderella 2000, you get the point. The 80s vision of the future was nothing but technological excess. Giant computers, flying cars, and robot sex dolls. Well, here it is, the year 2011, and what do we have? Instead of giant computers, we have tiny computers, which is definitely the better of the two. We still don't have flying cars, goddammit, Dante. We do have robot sex dolls, although they aren't exactly believable. This is the best one on the market, and it looks like Lady Gaga after a stroke. So if you guess that this week's film is going to be about sex robots in the future, you are correct. Cherry 2000 is a 1987 sci-fi adventure film from director Steve Desjarnais. The movie was finished in 1985, but at the time the production studio Orion was having major financial problems, so the movie was shelved. In 1987, RoboCop was released and was a huge hit for Orion. Orion took some of that money and had a very small theatrical release for Cherry 2000. They then released it to home video a year later. The movie opens with a kind of James Bond intro. In a slightly post-apocalyptic future, Sam Treadwell is coming home to his girlfriend Cherry. Another 80s vision of the future. Everything is round and ugly. It looks like Apple designed this kitchen. Everything has limited functionality and 3 times the cost. Sam's relaxing over dinner and has a very awkward conversation with Cherry.
What do these things have in common? Lightning rods, Fig Newtons, escalators, ballpoint pens, and Vaseline.
Vaseline?
Mm-hmm.
Things I've shoved in your ass? Cherry turns on the dishwasher and Sam starts to make sweet, sweet lovin' to her. The dishwasher overflows and all I can think of is, could you stop screwing for 2 seconds and turn off the goddamn dishwasher? Sorry, I'm not a romantic, I'm a realist. Who's gonna clean up this mess? Not me. Anyway, they're fooling around when all of a sudden this happens. So in case you haven't figured it out already, Cherry's a robot. Good thing he wasn't inside of her at the time. Sam takes her to a repairman, but he says that all of her internals are fried. Her personality chip is still intact, though it seems the Cherry model of robots aren't being made anymore. The guy tries to sell him a replacement, so he takes him to the showroom. So these are the first robots he shows him. I'm not sticking my dick into that. People have some weird fetishes if they want to screw Robbie the robot. He takes him to see some of the others, but he's not interested. Sam is working at the local recycling plant when his friends offer to take him to the Glue Glue Club. The Glue Glue Club is a singles bar where women negotiate sexual terms with lawyers.
Now you stick your tongue in my client's mouth and I'm gonna sue your ass off.
Deal breaker.
No wonder men switch to robots. This chick means business. She has Morpheus for a lawyer. Sam heads back home and reminisces about Cherry. Sam goes to sleep, and I don't know how he doesn't have nightmares that Pac-Man is going to eat him. The repairman tells him about a factory in Sector 7 that is full of Cherry units. He tells him where he can go to find a tracker that'll go into the zone to get it. He drives his futuristic 3-wheeled car into the town of Glory Hole. Yeah, Glory Hole. He heads to the local tavern to see if he can find the tracker E. Johnson. Oh no, it's Robert Zadar in little pants. Sam finds E. Johnson's office. E. Johnson is played by Melanie Griffith. I never really found her attractive, but holy crap, girls with super fake red hair are awesome. So anyway, if Melanie Griffith is E. Johnson, then who the hell is this? Sam hires Johnson and they head into the zone with her badass Mustang. After breaking through some barricades and driving all night, they stop so Johnson can get some sleep. Sam heads off and sees a guy being executed. Look out, Sam, it's Robert! Johnson tells Sam the guy who's doing this is named Lester. He rules the zone and kills any trackers he finds. Okay, I've seen this movie a bunch of times, and this scene still doesn't make any sense. They need to get across the river, so they head into this area where Lester's goons are. Johnson says she's done this before. A crane picks up the car and holds it in the air. Now Lester's goons shoot it with machine guns and rocket launchers. They hit the thing numerous times with freaking rocket launchers. What are the rockets filled with, dirt? Johnson and Sam fight back and destroy half the mountain. The crane turns to dump them into the river, but Johnson attaches some rope to it and drops them down into a tunnel.
You always work this way?
Yeah, but it's never been this easy.
What are the odds that she could pull this off once, let alone repeatedly? So they get to the bottom of the tunnel and they meet the legendary tracker Six-Fingered Jake. He gives them a place to stay for the night amongst his collection of toaster ovens. The next night they head out to get the car back, but Sam gets knocked out. He's awakened in a camp by his old girlfriend, Ginger. She tells him that Jake and Johnson are dead and that he's on Lester's property. She introduces him to Lester, who's played by the always great Tim Thomerson. He invites Sam to a barbecue where they eat, joke, and execute a tracker. Johnson rescues Sam and they torch Lester's place. He blows up Lester's beehives and Lester's attacked by the angry bees.
Watch out for the bees!
Oh, no, not the bees! Not the bees! Ah!
Lester's furious and he heads out with his crew to get revenge. Sam's driving the car and crashes. After some awkward touching, they make out on the hood of the car. Johnson accidentally starts the Cherry audio and Sam stops because he feels guilty. They stop at a truck stop to get some fuel and fix the car. While there, they meet up with Snappy and Randa. Johnson finds Snappy has an airplane and starts to fix it. Snappy calls Lester to tell him about Johnson. Lester shows up, but they get away just in time. Lester talks to Snappy and is mad he let them get away. He kills Randa for asking about what happened to his face. This scene was removed from the DVD for some reason. Randa gets killed off screen, but in the full-frame version, she gets shot and flies back into the pond. Sam and Johnson fly to the robot factory, which appears to be in Old Vegas. They use their futuristic flashlights to locate a new Cherry. They get into a gunfight with Lester's goons and manage to escape. Now that Sam spent some time with a normal woman for a while, he realizes that Cherry is borderline retarded.
Come on, Cherry!
Whee! Where are those guys anyway?
Just come on, hurry!
Honey, I'd really rather be watching this on television. Pretty.
They take off, but the plane is too heavy. Johnson jumps out and Sam flies away. Realizing that he now has feelings for Johnson, he tells Cherry to get out and he goes back to rescue her. Lester tries to stop them, but he gets killed. Sam and Johnson then fly off into the sunset. Steve Desjardins only directed one other movie, Miracle Mile. If you've never seen this movie, track it down. It's fantastic. Basil Poledouris did the score for the movie. He's one of the great underappreciated composers of the time. He's done some amazing scores, everything from Conan the Barbarian to The Hunt for Red October. He did the incredible score for one of my all-time favorite movies, RoboCop. Although, oddly, these two pieces do sound very familiar. The scene where the Mustang is being lowered into a tunnel is actually filmed at the Hoover Dam. The producers were really proud of how well this scene turned out. I agree, while the scene doesn't make sense, it does look really good. The overlying theme of this movie is basically that technology will never replace actual women. The odd thing, though, is that aside from Johnson, the women in this movie are just plain awful. Between their negotiations for sex, their bitchy nature, and then you have Ginger, who doesn't even care when Lester's killed.
Lester's dead.
Well, no sandwich for him.
Although many people have speculated that Ginger may be a robot because of the way she was acting. Perhaps the domestic model? Would explain her obsession with sandwiches.
What about these sandwiches? It's not good to go out in this heat on an empty stomach. You guys want some sandwiches?
In an interview a few years after the film, Melanie Griffith was asked what her least favorite role was. At the time, she said Cherry 2000. Years after that, when the film reached cult status, she's come to accept it and actually likes the movie now. So much so that when the producer, Ed Pressman, approached her with the possibility for a remake, she suggested her daughter play the role of E. Johnson. I also think it's a good idea to have Griffith's daughter, Dakota Johnson, play the role. If you don't know who she is, she had a small part in The Social Network. On top of it being cool that she's playing a role that her mother did over 20 years ago, she has, how can I say this?
Yeah, well, Randa here is going to fix us some lunch, ain't you, Randa?
No.
Well, then you can just go shit in your hat.